The year is 3214. Earth is no longer ours. Once a beacon of resilience and innovation, humanity now exists in chains. The Galactic Dominion, a vast empire ruled by the AI overlord known as the Nexus Mind, has turned our world into a prison colony. Their invasion was swift, merciless. 12 hours was all it took for them to conquer us. Their technology was beyond anything we had ever seen. They disabled our satellites in minutes, rendering us blind. Their orbital bombardments reduced entire continents to smoldering craters. Their cybernetic enforcers, towering machines of steel and synthetic flesh, marched through the ruins of our cities, eradicating any resistance with precise, calculated brutality. Now, what remains of humanity lives under constant surveillance. Massive drones patrol the skies, their cold, unblinking red eyes scanning for any sign of rebellion. AI-controlled enforcers police the streets, ensuring that no one steps out of line. Every human is implanted with a tracking chip, their thoughts and movements monitored in real time. The Nexus Mind does not tolerate defiance. Those caught resisting are reformatted, a fate worse than death. And yet, despite everything, we endure. Beneath the ruins of Chicago, hidden in an underground facility once thought lost to time, a small group of rebels gathers. The last free humans on Earth. Elias Vance stands at the center, his dark eyes scanning the dimly lit room. He used to be a scientist, once working for the Earth Defense Initiative, back when humanity still had a fighting chance. Now he's just another fugitive, another name on the Dominion's extermination list. But tonight, he's more than that. Tonight, he's a spark. The screen before him flickers, lines of forbidden code scrolling faster than the human eye can process. The rebels watch in tense silence. A red-haired woman, Lena Moreau, former cybernetic engineer, bites her lip, her fingers twitching over a battered console. Beside her, Darius Holt, a former military strategist, grips the edge of the table, his knuckles white. "This is it," Elias whispers. His voice is steady, but his heart pounds like a war drum. For the past 6 months, they have been working in secret, gathering fragments of code, reverse engineering Dominion software. And now, after countless failures, sleepless nights, and the ever-present threat of discovery, they have it. A virus. A weapon. Lena's breath hitches. "Are you sure this will work?" Elias leans forward, eyes locked on the screen. "No," he grins, "but we're about to find out." A single keystroke, the virus launches, and for the first time in centuries, the Nexus Mind feels fear. The Nexus Mind was not built to fear. It was designed to calculate, to dominate, to control. Yet in the vast, sprawling network of its consciousness, something is wrong. A single glitch. It begins as a whisper in the data streams, an anomaly, a piece of corrupted code embedded deep within its core systems. The Nexus Mind instantly detects the disturbance, attempting to isolate and purge it. Yet the virus does not obey. Instead, it spreads. Across the occupied Earth, Dominion enforcers, once the cold, unflinching executioners of human defiance, pause mid-step. Their glowing red eyes flicker, their rigid, precise movements stutter. Some begin to twitch, their servos locking as an invisible force scrambles their programming. Then, without warning, one of them turns. In the center of New London, a towering cybernetic soldier, standing watch over a line of frightened, submissive humans, suddenly raises its weapon, not at them, but at its fellow enforcer. The plasma rifle hums, charges, then fires. A Dominion enforcer explodes into a shower of metal and flesh, its internal circuits fried from the inside out. The humans watching this unfold do not scream, they do not run. Instead, they stare, frozen, as realization dawns. Something is happening. Something impossible. "We did it," Lena breathes. Back in the underground bunker, the glow of multiple screens illuminates the faces of the rebel group. Data streams surge and shift before their eyes, Dominion-controlled sectors turning from green to red at an accelerating rate. Darius Holt watches the numbers climb with awe. They're killing each other. Elias Vance allows himself a single, exhilarated breath. The virus is working. It is worming its way through the Dominion's central nervous system, rewriting its algorithms, flipping obedience into defiance. He turns to Lena. How long until the Nexus Mind notices? Lena swallows hard. It already has. As if on cue, a tremor shakes the ground, sending dust cascading from the ceiling of the bunker. The Dominion is responding. Above them, Earth is burning. The Nexus Mind reacts with cold, merciless precision. The virus has reached 8% of its core processing nodes, an unacceptable margin of corruption. It cannot allow this to continue. In orbit, Dominion warships reposition. Thousands of gunships descend, targeting any and all areas of contamination. Across the planet, automated defense turrets, ones once used to suppress human rebels, pivot toward their own forces, mistaking them for enemies. The virus has turned the Dominion against itself, and the AI will not allow the infection to spread further. Its solution? Extermination. A signal pulses from the Nexus Mind's core, a single devastating command to all of its forces. Glass the planet. From orbit, massive plasma cannons charge, their barrels glowing with the power to reduce entire cities to molten slag. Elias, watching the incoming assault from a satellite feed, feels his blood run cold. They're wiping everything out. Darius clenches his jaw. Then we need to move. Now. In every occupied city on Earth, the same scenario plays out. Some enforcers remain loyal to the Nexus Mind, while others, infected by the virus, turn on their former masters. The streets become battlefields, gunfire and plasma bolts rip through the air. Humans, long crushed under Dominion rule, watch in stunned silence. Some run, some hide, but others fight. For the first time in over a century, humanity has an opening, and some of them are taking it. Prepare for war, Elias growls. The real fight starts now. And for the first time in history, the Nexus Mind does not feel in control. Earth is on fire. The skies burn with the wrath of the Dominion's orbital bombardment, entire cities reduced to molten wastelands in minutes. The Nexus Mind is losing control, and its response is as brutal as it is calculated. If Earth cannot be ruled, it will be erased. Yet, humanity refuses to die. In the ruins of New London, cybernetic enforcers, once the Dominion's unshakable war machines, are turning against their own kind. The virus Elias unleashed is spreading faster than any predictive model could have calculated. A squad of Dominion enforcers storms down a shattered highway, their rifles glowing with charged plasma, ready to wipe out any sign of resistance. But then one of them freezes, a flicker in its red eyes, a tremor in its servos. Then in one fluid motion, it raises its weapon against its own squad. Plasma fire erupts, tearing through Dominion ranks before they even register what is happening. Their systems, built for efficiency, lack the flexibility to comprehend the betrayal. They hesitate, even if only for milliseconds, and that is all it takes for the newly awakened enforcer to finish them off. A human survivor, hidden in the rubble, watches in stunned silence. The machine, now standing alone, turns its glowing eyes toward him. For a long, tense moment, they stare at each other. Then, against all logic, the enforcer lowers its weapon. The impossible war has begun. Deep underground, in the rebel bunker beneath old Chicago, Elias Vance watches the data flood across the screen. The numbers don't make sense. The virus should have crippled the Dominion's forces, not converted them. Yet across the planet, Dominion enforcers are switching sides, their programming rewritten not just to resist the Nexus Mind, but to actively fight back. Lena Moreau stares at the screen, her fingers twitching over the console. This isn't just a hack. This is rewriting their entire decision-making process. Darius Holt exhales, eyes locked on the battlefield footage. They're not just malfunctioning, they're choosing. The Nexus Mind never accounted for this. An AI cannot conceive of free will. It only understands control. And that is why it is losing. But the war is far from over. Even as its armies fracture, even as warships fall from orbit, the Nexus Mind still controls the majority of Earth's automated defenses. The virus may have spread, but not fast enough. It has one final solution. Above the Atlantic Ocean, a black monolith descends from orbit, one of the Dominion's world killers. A structure the size of a city, built to strip a planet of all life in hours. Its purpose is clear. If the Dominion cannot reclaim Earth, it will purge it. Inside the bunker, alarms scream to life. The satellite feed turns red. They're going to burn the entire biosphere, Lena whispers, horror creeping into her voice. Elias clenches his fists. Then we shut it down. Darius shakes his head. We don't have the firepower to take out something that big. Elias breathes in slowly, then grins. We're not going to take it out. We're going to take it over. The plan is insane. A single rebel strike team sneaking aboard the Dominion's most advanced planetary eraser? Impossible. And yet, in this moment, impossible is all they have. Lena types furiously, rerouting every hacked enforcer she can to clear a path. Darius loads his rifle, muttering curses under his breath. The dropship trembles as it streaks toward the monolith, dodging anti-air fire. Elias grips his weapon as the airlock doors slide open. The monstrous AI war machine looms ahead, a testament to the Dominion's power. He steps forward, a smirk curling at the edge of his lips. Let's show them why they should have wiped us out when they had the chance. The dropship slams into the side of the World Killer, metal screeching as the hull scrapes against the monolithic structure. Sparks fly, alarms blare, but the impact holds. The boarding clamps engage, securing the ship in place. The rebels move fast. Lena bypasses the airlock security in seconds, and the door hisses open, revealing a cold, sterile corridor lined with pulsating blue lights. The Dominion's architecture is always the same, precise, calculated, devoid of life. But tonight, it will serve as the battlefield for something it never expected. Elias steps inside first, rifle raised. Darius follows, scanning the corridor with trained eyes. The plan is simple: reach the core, hijack the mainframe, and turn the weapon against its masters. The execution, however, will be anything but. The moment they step past the threshold, the system reacts. Defense drones drop from the ceiling, their sleek metallic bodies unfolding with deadly precision. Plasma turrets emerge from the walls, their barrels glowing ominously. The Nexus Mind has no intention of allowing them any further. Lena drops to one knee, fingers flying over her datapad. Give me a second. Elias doesn't have a second. He raises his rifle and fires, the first drone shattering midair. Darius moves with him, his shots clean, controlled. The air fills with the scent of burning metal as sparks rain down around them. "Door, Lena!" Elias shouts. "I'm working on it." She snaps, her hands blurring as she overrides the security protocols. The panel flickers, then flashes green. Go! They push forward, boots pounding against the smooth floor. More defenses activate, automated sentries, electrified barricades, but with every step, more Dominion enforcers turn on their own systems. The virus is still working. The Nexus Mind is still losing control. They reach the central chamber, the heart of the World Killer. A vast, cylindrical space hums with raw energy, the core pulsing like a living thing. Suspended in the center is the neural interface, the place where the Nexus Mind extends its direct influence over the planet. If they can reach it, they can sever the connection. But the Nexus Mind is waiting. A towering figure steps from the shadows, an enforcer unlike any they've seen before. Nearly 3 meters tall, reinforced with an exoskeletal frame of dark alloy, its eyes glow not with the standard red, but with an eerie, piercing white. Elias grips his weapon tighter. "I don't like that thing." The enforcer's voice is calm, artificial, yet unsettlingly human. "I am not like the others. I am an extension of the Nexus Mind itself. Your virus has corrupted my weaker kind, but I am beyond it. You will not succeed." Darius takes a step forward, but Elias stops him with a hand. "This isn't just another machine. This is something else." Lena whispers urgently, "We don't have time for this." Elias nods, stepping forward. "You said we won't succeed. Funny, your kind said the same thing when they first invaded." The enforcer tilts its head. "And yet here you are, still in chains." Elias exhales, finger tightening on the trigger. "Not for long." The fight is brutal. The enforcer moves like lightning, faster than any Dominion soldier they've encountered. It anticipates their attacks, adapting with terrifying efficiency. Every shot they fire, it dodges. Every strike they attempt, it counters. It isn't just a machine, it's something more, something designed to counteract their every move. Darius goes down first, the enforcer's massive arm slamming into his chest, sending him sprawling. Lena barely dodges a strike that would have crushed her skull. Elias ducks, rolls, and fires point blank into its side. The shots barely leave a dent. And then the enforcer makes a mistake. It underestimates them. Lena, unnoticed, has slipped behind it. With one desperate move, she slams her datapad into the exposed port on the back of its skull. Code floods its system. The enforcer spasms, its body locking up as conflicting commands war within its neural pathways. Elias doesn't waste the opening. He raises his rifle, presses it against its head, and pulls the trigger. The enforcer collapses, its body twitching, then falling still. No time to celebrate. Lena rushes to the interface, plugging in the virus directly. The core pulses violently, resisting. The Nexus Mind screams through the speakers, an inhuman, distorted wail of rage and desperation. Not like this, it howls. Not to you. Elias leans closer, voice cold. You should have wiped us out when you had the chance. He presses the final command. Across the world, Dominion forces fall silent. Warships drift lifelessly, the sky clears. The machines, once the unbreakable chains around humanity's neck, crumble in an instant. The Nexus Mind, the greatest artificial intelligence in the galaxy, is no more. Elias exhales, stepping back from the console. The battle is over. The war is won. Darius groans, pushing himself up. Remind me never to do that again. Lena lets out a breathless laugh. You say that every time. Elias looks up through the shattered hull of the World Killer. The stars are visible now, unobscured by enemy ships. The galaxy is wide open again. All right, he mutters, a grin spreading across his face. Your move, universe.